So I get asked a lot about how global talent mobility is helping address the talent shortage or compounding the talent shortage, or in fact, what are the trends in talent mobility around the world? And this is a complex issue. From an employer perspective, a lot of times what they want to try to understand is how mobile is talent? If I create work, will people move to that work? And it's a good news, bad news situation. In many cases, what we're seeing, particularly in the Gen X and Gen Y cohorts, people are less willing to move. And they are not impressed by the standard rules of success saying you need a rotation here or a rotation there. Certainly some still are, but many are not. And so they'll choose to stay still in where they're at or look at a different opportunity rather than pick up and go. In other cases, particularly where borders are fluid and legislation allows for it, talent does move across to fill gaps. But in fact, worldwide, we have a significant shortage of rightly skilled talent. We have a mismatch between what's needed and what is actually being supplied. And the bottom line is this. Every single economy around the world, whether it's a country, a region, a state, or a metro location, needs to do some really hard thinking about what is the talent we need to make our economy viable long term and to offer an opportunity for prosperity for everybody. And what that will require is long-term investments in developing the workforce, and not just a once and done kind of an investment, but the kind of workforce system that will allow for ongoing learning and development that matches the kind of changes that we're seeing in terms of skills required to handle life in an agile business environment where businesses are transforming, whole industries are transforming, and so some roles are dropping out. Some skills are just evolving incredibly rapidly. And that requires a multi-stakeholder approach to developing that talent. The really smart governments are figuring this out, right? So they're starting to think about, well, what really drives my GDP? And they're connecting that industry sector problem that we're all very used to asking themselves, okay, well, what skills will drive those industry sectors? And what kind of fine-tuning do we need to do all the way from K through 12 to technical to university education and beyond to make sure that we have that pool of rightly skilled talent, not only to feed our economy, but also to attract employers to us because we're known for having a sustainable pipeline of talent, and we're also known for investing in that talent on a really forward-looking basis. The economies that crack that code stand to do extremely well at a time where we are in certain uncertainty for the long haul. Some examples of countries and even states that have really taken this long-term focus include the government of Vietnam, the government of Shanghai, and the government of Singapore, all of which have taken their own individual approaches to this. When I look at Singapore, they've really done a great job of understanding what their key industry drivers will be, and they've tried to understand what is the talent we have and what investments would we need to make to train that talent if a new industry comes in or there are adjacent industries where people could make more money or have more opportunity so that they can be continually progressing. In Vietnam, the question has been, how do we take our base of talent and continue to upskill it and make ourselves a country for the future for long-term economic health? In Shanghai, one of the questions that was asked is, how do we handle the movement of talent that is coming into the cities and make sure that all of those people have a seat at the table and have opportunity? In fact, ManpowerGroup actually worked with the government of Shanghai and with the government of Vietnam to help them figure out those problems, because these kinds of systemic workforce issues are really important to get right. In our very own state of Wisconsin, a number of people sat down at the table throughout 2012 and 2013 to put together a workforce strategy to support a 10-year economic plan. So there is really good precedent. In most cases, the foundation has been saying This is where we're going to grow from an industry sector space, figuring out the skills that will drive it, projecting what will be needed over the long term, and then figuring out how to fine-tune the system to ensure that they can actually build up that requisite supply of talent on a sustainable basis going forward.